Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for November 6th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
I'm going to start off here with my Marvel stuff. I got Daredevil Dark Knights number 6. I believe this is the first part of Jimmy Palmiotti's go at it. And it's got Misty Knight on the cover. So, we got, looks like they're hanging out in Miami or something, hanging out on the beach there. It looks like some great stuff here. Who we got doing the art? Marcos Martin's doing the art.
Oh, wow.
Or did you just do it on that one page? Oh, so there's multiple things going on. We had Tony Silas doing the interior on the rest of the story, which also looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Misty looks great. This has been a fun series. Essentially, it's going to be, what, a 9-parter or 8-parter?
Yeah, I don't know how long, but it's
with 3 different writers and kind of just, 3 standalone miniseries, really.
Right.
Take place in different parts of Daredevil, kind of a little bit different from the typical
instead of doing
series.
A 3-issue miniseries and a 2-issue miniseries, they're doing a 12-issue miniseries with rotating creative teams.
Right.
So it's just kind of different kind of big league creators getting a crack at Daredevil for one story. They don't have to put into the regular book, which
right.
Kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah, it's been cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
Next, it brings me to Longshot Saves the Marvel Universe. This looks like this is going to be a 4-issue miniseries. This is written by Christopher Hastings with artist by Jacopo, a name I'm not even going to try to butcher. The art looks pretty good. It looks fun, but for me, it's all about Longshot. When people inevitably talk about the nerd question of what mutant power would you want, I joke around that I already have the same powers as Longshot. I've got luck. I got luck on my side most of the time. He's a great character. He's just fun. I mean, his mutant power is just luck. Yeah. Things just kind of bounce his way when he needs them to.
Yeah.
And it's always been sort of fun. So
and
I'm looking forward
eye.
to. And he's got a sparkly eye, a cable type eye.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they got him kind of looking a little Justin Bieber-ish on the cover. I don't love that, but
at least
it's
he doesn't have
Longshot.
the old mullet.
Well, fair enough. The mullet's probably better than the Justin Bieber, but. Then I've got Marvel Knight Spider-Man. This is issue number 2. This is Matt Kent, Marco Rudy, and Val Staples. This is pretty cool. It's very trippy, kind of psychedelic, and I believe Spider-Man has to face like 98 villains or something to that effect. He ends up teleporting into a subway car, and he's going to have to fight, who do we got here? Sandman and a couple other baddies. So Mysterio, Sandman, Hydro Man, and the Shocker, a new Shocker who looks more like some kind of weird ninja. Oh, okay, that's cool. It's been a cool series so far. That first issue was fun and trippy, and the art's really weird. Looks like a 8-bit Nintendo game on the side there. I don't know what's going on. Pretty cool book. Then this is Batman Detective Comics. This is John Layman and Jason Fabok. Of course, John Layman, I believe, is leaving this book. Mm-hmm. They've got him thrown into yet another event in Zero Year. I think he's been doing a pretty stellar job. He's invented a couple of new villains that he's thrown in. He's done some neat things with them. And yet he's still working within this constant event framework.
Right.
Hey, you got to do a little bit of this. Now you got to do this. Now you got to do that. All right, he's making it work somehow, and then he's going to unfortunately leave the book, and they're bringing in a new creative team. I feel like he never really got a shot. I think they're moving him somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I really liked what John Layman's done on Batman. I think it's been some cool stuff. And this ties into Zero Year here, so it looks like perhaps a Jim Gordon story.
Makes sense.
Then we've got Shadow Man number 12. This says 3 complete tales featuring a giant creative team here. So this is kind of an interesting take. I guess this is maybe just a breather before the new creative team jumps on. I'm trying to remember who that was. It was someone I was excited about. I'm so excited I can't remember who it was. But I guess that this is just going to kind of tell some Shadow Man tales. Looks like the weird spirit monkey's in there, which I got a kick out of that, obviously. And it looks like some interesting artwork, cool stuff. I like the Shadow Man book. I really like what Valiant's doing, and we're just gearing up towards Unity eventually here in the next month. I think Unity comes out in the next couple weeks.
Cool.
Then I've got, we're going to check in with some image titles. I've got Ghosted, number 5 by Joshua Williamson. This is a weird book about a team of thieves who are hired to steal a ghost. Of course, what they don't realize at the time, it's a pretty specific ghost. They're getting tied into this whole strange thing. They've had some strange ideas about maybe one of them would have to, die and be possessed, and really weird stuff. It looks like some members of the team are turning on each other, and I like it. I'm a sucker for the heist thing anyway,
Yeah.
and then I'm also kind of a sucker for ghost tales and spooky nonsense, and that just kind of hit me just right. I kind of dig it. Then we've got Reality Check. This is issue number 3. This is about a comic book artist artist writer who creates this superhero that jumps out of the book. He essentially uses real people. In the first issue, he's accused of being some kind of a pervert, spying on women. When all he's doing is he's sitting in a coffee house using their likenesses and drawing stuff, drawing pictures of them, which he then probably uses as reference material for his characters. Right. Well, his main character jumps out of the book, decides the writer's got to find him a girlfriend, and he sort of targeted the girl that he doesn't even really know.
Nice.
That he just drew a picture of, which makes it even a little bit weirder for him. I think the art's great. It's kind of a weird, unique thing. Oh, there's some kind of zombie in there. Awesome. It's pretty neat. A neat idea, and I've dug it. It's in Image Comics number 3 there.
Cool.
What are you looking at?
I'm starting off with The Star Wars number 3. This is continuing the adaptation of George Lucas's original story idea for Star Wars that has a lot of similarities, but ultimately is very different. I actually haven't read the last issue yet, so I have to catch up on that before I get to this one. It looks like we've got some kind of prototype C-3PO in here, along with the and R2-D2. We've got a desert planet. We've got something that looks kind of like Coruscant. We've got the Darth Vader, who's not the Darth Vader we know, although he has kind of the helmet, but he has a normal human face and he's not robotic. So as you kind of go through this, you see basically where a lot of the things that became the Star Wars that we know began, which is kind of interesting. So even though I'm very excited for this, I know I did not get to the last issue. I'm actually quite behind on a lot of stuff, so you're going to be hearing a lot more of that in the coming weeks, I think. One that I am caught up on is Batman Black and White.
Yeah, but that's just an anthology book with a bunch of short stories.
Right. So it's a lot easier, and then you can skip the ones that you don't really want to read. But this has got some stuff by Lee Bermejo, who's a great, fantastic artist. Damian Scott, who I'm not really familiar with. Riccardo Bercelli. And then we've got Stephen Rao and Rhian Hughes. But this is all great stuff. Even the artists I don't know, Batman just works so well in black and white. Some really strange stuff. A variety of different styles. I mean, there's a lot of big writers on these books, but this is really an artist-driven book because it's really all about delivering a black and white, very noirish Batman, which is what the book's all about. But
it's
really,
a great
really
England cover too.
Yeah, even though there's kind of some color on this cover, which it's a little black and white, and a little bit of tan in there too. But this has been great stuff. I've loved all the Batman Black and Whites. It was a mini series, then it was a backup feature. There have been 3 collected editions of these.
Okay.
I'm sure when this particular series gets collected, I'll get that too because they fit really nicely on a shelf, and it's great stuff. I'm always dig the Batman Black and Whites. Next up, we've got Superman Unchained. This is Scott Snyder and Jim Lee. Looks like Luthor is joining the fray. You can't have a good Superman story without Luthor. Luthor in making some origami Batmans and Supermans and other characters. But basically, there's some sort of a creature that's 75 years old that was the first kind of superhuman to land on Earth. And we're getting some backstory of that character and how he relates to Superman. The government is kind of on Superman's case because they think he's dangerous and they want to control him the way they control this older character. But mostly the selling point of this is Jim Lee and Scott Snyder. I mean, these two guys are really the top guns at DC creatively, and really they're both on their game. And this is just some gorgeous artwork. Scott Snyder's a great writer, but I'd be buying this book no matter who was writing it.
Fair enough.
Next up, we got Action Comics number 25. This is a 0-year tie-in.
It's a great cover, too.
Fantastic cover. Greg Pak and Aaron Cooter. I believe this is the new creative team. Both these guys are really good. Wow. I really liked Greg Pak's run on the Hulk.
Of course.
And he actually did quite a few of the Villain Month stories. He did a couple of the Superman stories there. Aaron Cooter's from Green Lantern New Guardians, where he did a great job on that. And here we've got the two of them doing the t-shirt and jeans Superman from his first year, because this is obviously tying into Batman's first year and Superman's first year at the same time. He was He was wearing the T-shirt and the jeans the way he was in Grant Morrison's Action Comics. That was really a fun run, and I'm really kind of curious to see some more tales set during that time period. Looks like he doesn't even have his cape at this point. But yeah, we've got young Superman, possibly even before he's got the name Superman, running around saving the world with some great artwork and the debut of the new writer.
The cover's almost reminiscent of an unwritten cover.
Yeah.
Because the way they're using, almost like a painted look in the background and the water kind of going through his chest there.
A very un-Superman cover.
Yeah, awesome stuff, though.
Kind of cool.
I like that.
We've really got two complete extreme ends of Superman here. We've got the really polished, slick, modern Jim Lee Superman, and a very kind of Aaron Cooter, it's detailed, but it's not like the cross-hatchy. It's actually a very kind of almost indie comics look to it.
Yeah, it looks
really,
cool.
really good stuff. Next up, Forever Evil #3. This is Jeff Johns and David Finch. This is continuing the big crossover, although I actually haven't been getting very many of the side stories to this. But as has been going on, the villains from Earth 3, I believe it is, the Crime Syndicate, have come to this, the regular DC universe. They've gotten rid of the Justice League. They're basically taking over. And Luthor and now his creation, Bizarro, are going to fight back. Black Adam is also in there. So you would think that the villains coming to Earth and taking over, that would be a big deal, and all the other villains would get in line. But a lot of the Earth villains don't take too kindly to these outside Justice Leaguers coming in and telling them what to do. So they're fighting back. So we're going to get villain against villain, which is always kind of fun. I think the Rogues were initially on their side, but I think they're kind of against them. So yeah, that's the problem, is when you get a bunch of villains together, they don't play nice.
Of course not.
And some great artwork by David Finch on that too. Next up, Green Lantern #25. This is Robert Venditti and Billy Tan. I really enjoyed the Lights Out crossover. It left things in kind of a strange place. Oa is destroyed. The Lanterns are now on Mogo.
Really?
They blow up Mogo, then they bring him back, and then they blow up Oa, and now Moa's the new Green Lantern, or Mogo's the new Green Lantern homeworld until they bring Oa back.
That works though, Moa.
Just run them together. But we found out that the different colored lights have a limited reservoir. They were replenished by the entities in the Lights Out crossover. But now some of the lanterns are kind of hesitant to continue doing this, because they know that when they use up that new reservoir, the universe is destroyed. So that kind of gives a new vibe to the Green Lanterns. Every time they use their power, they're bringing the universe that much closer to destruction. So that could be some interesting stuff, very interesting take that we have not seen in the Green Lantern book before. And that's kind of one of the things I like. Already these guys have made this book a very different kind of tone and a different kind of story than what Jeff Johns was doing.
But using what they had at their disposal.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're building very logically on what came before. And just as Jeff Johns kind of looked at the Green Lantern stories and found some stories kind of hidden in there that no one had ever thought of before, this idea that maybe the green energy and the yellow energy is not infinite, that there's actually an end to it, and that it's kind of tied to the fate of the universe. Really clever idea, and had nobody think of that before. So good stuff. I've really been enjoying this. I was worried when the old creative teams were leaving, because this was a book that was very dear to me. But they found really, really good replacements. Although I'm still not a big fan of Billy Tan's art. Sorry. The other books I think are a little bit better drawn, but still, the story alone and the kind of the cleverness, and they've got the characters down. So this Green Lantern fan is pleased.
Cool.
So what's your top, as if I had to ask?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because it's coming out this week, clearly my top pick of the week is going to be Drumheller, #1 from Image Comics and Riley Rossmo. I'm excited to just have this paper copy in my hand, because this is a book I read about a month ago.
Yeah.
Riley sent me a PDF, and I wasn't allowed to say anything other than that I had read it, and it was great, and you should be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Now we've got it in our hands, and I can actually review this thing a bit. It's got a really almost X-Files by way of Parker Lewis Can't Lose in sort of an 80s sitcom-y sort of way. It feels comical and goofy, but there's this really trippy, heady thing going on at the same time. You know, Drumheller does use some hallucinogenics. He's got that going on for him. He's got this weird entity Harold that he speaks to. He can kind of see other dimensions and things, and he raises a bog monster, which ends up raising some havoc in issue 2 as well there. There's the pace of it. It's one of these things where you're going to look back on it when, the 6-issue story arc is done, or the, however long it goes. It's going to be an ongoing series. He's hoping to go about 30, 40 issues. But I think when you get, with each chunk, you're going to look back at the early things like, oh, it was there, right there all along, because it's vague. There's some strange stuff going on. By the time you get to the end, you're like, well, what the heck was going on? Man, I really like the hell out of that, but I have no clue what just happened. Almost in a Max sort of way. It reminds me of the Max a little bit. There, but again, it's got very much a Parker Lewis can't lose kind of vibe. You got this really weird main character who can seemingly do no wrong, but he's like, wait,
great artwork.
Again? Like, what a weirdo. The art. This is the best Riley's art has ever looked to me. I mean, it looks fantastic. His colors are beautiful, and I believe he did write a bit of this. It's co-plotters Riley Rossmo and he gets and Alex Link. So he did the story. Alex Link did the script.
Cool.
But I think that's what Riley wanted to start moving toward, was being able to tell some stories
cool.
a bit himself. Great book. Awesome. Pick up Drumheller. 2 different covers this week, too.
Cool. I screwed up. I actually have 2 left because the book that I have in front of me now
is the book you wanted to be your top. I thought maybe, but I thought maybe there was...
It was my original pick, but then right before we started shooting, I swapped, and I forgot that this is not my top pick. But it's Amazing X-Men. This is Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness. The absolute last thing in the world I want right now is another X-Men book. I buy more X-Men books than I maybe ever have.
But it's Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness. And it's got
Jason
a swashbuckling Nightcrawler.
Ed McGuinness, both. I mean, Jason Aaron's doing such a fantastic job on Wolverine and the X-Men. Ed McGuinness, I mean, I've pretty much bought almost everything he's done for quite a while. Not only does it have a great swashbuckling Nightcrawler cover that's an homage to his original miniseries, this is the return of Nightcrawler to the X-Men. He died during one of the events. I can't remember which one. It was actually that was quite a while ago.
It was quite a while ago, about 2 or 3 years ago.
Like Messiah Complex
something
like that when they first introduced Hope, maybe. Or when Hope was taking I don't know. There were a lot of X-Men crossovers. So Nightcrawler's been dead for a few years, so obviously it's time to bring him back, even though they still haven't brought back Jean Grey. I think they're going to kill. They're going to kill every X-Men once again and bring them back before they bring back Jean.
But they sort of brought back Jean Grey, though.
Yeah, but that's not back. But
she's not back from the dead, but they did bring her back.
But this is apparently because they teased this in Wolverine and the X-Men. He is dead, and he is in some sort of afterlife situation in a nice white robe, and somehow he's going to come back to the
artwork looks fantastic.
This is I mean, with just this artwork alone, I would have bought it. But yeah, another damn X-Men book. I'm really getting tired of them making books I want to read. How dare they?
Jerks.
So anyway, that was going to be my pick, but at the last second, I swapped it to Cataclysm, The Ultimate's Last Stand. This is possibly, they haven't really said for sure, the beginning of the end of the Ultimate Universe. And I've loved the Ultimate Universe, but I kind of hope that this is the end. The thing that really got me, other than this, is Galactus. And I didn't get that hunger story because I knew that the real story was going to be told in this book. So I don't know what got them to this point, but I'm sure they'll recap it.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
But this is basically Galactus has come to the ultimate Marvel Earth. But the big reason why I'm getting this is it's Bendis and Bagley. And these are the guys who created the Ultimate Universe. I think it's fitting that they are the guys who are basically ending it. Now, there's going to be several of these Cataclysm books. There's one that's going to tie in, I think, to the X-Men. One that's tying into the actual Ultimates. But this is the one that's done by really the Ultimate Spider-Man creative team. So that's why I'm getting it. If this is indeed the end of the Ultimate Universe, it's been a fun ride. I got everything at first. Then over the years, things trailed off. Now the only thing I'm really still getting is Ultimate Spider-Man. But if we're going to get a chance to see Galactus eat a planet, especially a planet full of superheroes, that's going to be a lot of fun. Because every time Galactus goes to eat a planet, somebody stops him, except for the Skrulls, and then they just got a homeworld back. But yeah, it's about time Galactus gets to eat the Earth. He's been trying for 40 years. So let's let the man eat
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
and have a nice farewell to the Ultimate Universe, except for Miles Morales.
They're going to bring over.
Who's probably going to come to this universe
The Spider-Man
because we don't
team.
have enough Spider-Mans.
Yeah, absolutely. Then they can make a Spider-Man team-up book
Yeah.
with all Spider-Mans.
Yep, all the Spider. Yeah, that's right. Because you got the 2099 Spider-Man. You got everybody with Peter Parker. As
Legion
Spider-Man.
of Spider-Man team-up.
Nice. Marvel, get on that.
So we got some good titles this week, some
Yeah.
fun titles this week. Be sure to check those out. And that is your Week in Geek.